Spoken Labour. I haven't thought about flying for a long time. I haven't dreamed of that moment when I was alone above the clouds for a long time. I haven't dreamed of waking up in a room surrounded in blue and green grass for more years than I could dream of remembering. I haven't walked back into the past or scratched on the doors of my origins, where it all came from, since I held up that cape for the last time.
Return to Cape Town 10th Year Anniversary Edition is a revised version of Andy N's first poetry book. The book can be purchased from Amazon and it contains numerous additional material.
Spoken Label. Hi, it's Andy N from Spoken Label. Thank you today for streaming or downloading another episode of Spoken Label. Spoken Label was originally set up on beginning of 2016 and as of speaking has currently nearly 300 sessions. The full archive is available on Spoken Label bandcamp.com. Although it is available for free for stream and download if you wish, I am always grateful for any sort of kind of donation to enable me to keep the running costs of this podcast going. And enjoy. Take care. Bye bye. Spoken Label.
Hi guys, Andy N, Spoken Label, back in the house on a Wednesday night. Over to Wigan today to speak to a lovely guy who I've not actually met yet, but I've spoken to him on numerous occasions. And this gentleman is big friends with a friend of Spoken Labels, Richard Harris. So we've got with us today the wonderful Ray Douglas. Now, Ray, obviously, if people don't know you, and I don't know if they don't know you, I don't know why. So, first of all, mate, seriously, give us the general introduction. Tell obviously who you are and what started you on the creative path. And we'll take it from there.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Andy. First of all, thank you so much. Good to see you here on a Wednesday in the comfort of my own home.
Nice.
So to introduce myself, the day job is I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for about 25 years. I teach English as a foreign language. So English has always been my instrument, if you will, both at work and at play. So I've been lucky. I've worked and lived all over Europe and up and down the UK in a number of different places. Currently back in Wigan, as I mentioned.
Are you originally from the Wigan area then, are you?
Yeah, born and bred.
Yeah,
Scouse parents, so the accent's a bit messed up. So mum and dad are Scouse, and I'm from Wigan, which made for a tricky childhood. Not for me, but for my mum. You got to get me to out of a shell suit's a bit tricky, but there you go.
Now, obviously, I found it interesting for you too. You're very helpful today. You've sent over to me a lengthy bio. This anybody knows you do your research on artists and like yourself. The length of the bio you've sent me is pretty well been magnificent. One of the best ones I've read. So we'll go through it, and then you tell us how to fill the gaps in where your creativity came from. Because you telling me, obviously, you graduated from St. Martin's College in Lancaster, didn't you? With a sports science degree. So where did the fact of becoming an English teacher come from with that then?
Well, I mean, when you think of sports science, you probably think about people putting on a tracksuit and a pair of football boots and running around fields. It wasn't anything like that. It was a bit tricky. It was a bit difficult. I didn't particularly enjoy the degree, but I love the people. I love Lancaster. It's a fantastic city.
Yeah, love it. Big fan of Lancaster. So one of my best mates lives in Heysham, near Morecambe. Yeah. So that's just up the road from there. Yeah, love Lancashire.
Yeah. You can always jump on a boat in Heysham as well. Get the hell out of there.
That's true.
Yeah. So actually, in one of my final exams, I didn't understand the subject. It was a biomechanics exam, and you had to turn up to the exam for the good standing of the college. So I sat there for 20 minutes. I wrote a limerick, and then I left, which was quite controversial, and I'm quite famous for it. People thought I was quite near the front of the hall. I had to walk all the way out past everybody. So all the drama students and, community youth study students are all looking at me thinking, where's he going? Like these sports science students, they don't take it seriously. I was the only one.
Certainly didn't there, mate. So I take it then, obviously, because I know we're here to take a look at your writers, what's your teaching, really. I'm guessing you're writing round about this point, weren't you, if you're writing limericks and exams?
Well, I mean, I've always scribbled with a pencil, always had ideas and jotted them down. But when I left uni, I decided I wanted to be a writer, and I was trying to start big, start writing novels. So I wrote my first novel, which is actually about a gang of drug dealers, a bit kind of influenced by Tarantino, I suppose. I thought I'll try and bring that to life on the page. Not an area of life I know anything about other than what you see on the TV, which write about what you know. That's the lesson you learn from that one. It was terrible. It was a terrible, terrible book. But I got to the end of it, and I interjected it with loads of autobiographical stuff, which I think a lot of people do when they write the first novel or the first piece of writing, any kind of writing, really. I think your life comes into it quite a lot. So I did that. Very much unpublished, very much rejected by everyone who ever saw it. I even spelt the title of it wrong. So a lesson learned, though. A lesson learned.
Listen, I always believe in writing as well, and you've got to write crap before you can write good.
I completely agree.
And I started writing poetry when I was 10, and some of the stuff I've got right up to pushing 30. I look back at it now and I go red in embarrassment.
You kept it though. You kept it. That's the thing.
You want to know how bad I am, honestly, Ray, with it? And it's about you. We'll go back to you in a second, I promise you. I've got everything I ever wrote is reasonably completed. I've got a poetry wise, all little A5 hardback books.
Wow.
I've got 60 of them.
Crikey.
Some of
I was quite obsessive. I've got 3 hardback books.
In my case, like some of these are so they're on big boxes. Some of them are wisely never going to get pulled out again. But they're just saying, you never know. You never know. Yeah. Anyway, back to you, mate. Rick, taught me all day. So now, obviously, I know you told me before you've lived in quite a few places, haven't you? So now, and you've sent me a very good list here as well. So, were most of these over you teaching them, were they really? Or?
Yeah. My job's taken me to a number of places. So, I started off over in Turkey. Lived in a place called Eskişehir in Turkey. Everyone always asks me, thinking they're going to recognise the place because they've been to Bodrum or Antalya. No. So it's like living in Wigan, but it was in Turkey. It's a place famous for industrial and making trains and stuff. But a great experience to be away from home and learning another language, or attempting to, and having an authentic kebab, not one of these ones you get on the corners. But then, they've been in Poland, Czech Republic, Spain, Italy, Austria, in and out of Austria quite a bit. Yeah. Lived in Latvia for a week.
Wow.
Said about that one.
Well, did they chase you out after Latvia after a week? Then?
No, I went running of my own accord.
No, I can see that. And you also lived in quite a few places in England as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, just before coming back to Wigan, I was in Canterbury. I used to live about 100 metres away from the cathedral.
Nice. Well, I've got a friend that lives there. And I know you tell me obviously you used to live in Oxford at one point as well.
I did, yeah.
And I've got friends that live in Oxford, and it's a wonderful city. Expensive.
I like telling people that I was 3 years in Oxford, because suddenly they start thinking I did my degree in Oxford, which is absolute nonsense. But I like the confusion just for a moment.
On Oxford, it always tickles me, like from the friends I know that live in Oxford. Every time I go down and see them, all they do is keep moaning about cyclists. Yeah. And like ones that they've ran down or nearly killed and stuff. And so,
exactly.
It's crazy. So, but obviously, you're back in Wigan again nowadays, aren't you? So,
yep,
that's why. So, and you've been telling me before that you're an online. You do most of your teaching online at the moment, don't you? So,
all of it's online at the moment. Yeah, it's just my second stint as being an online teacher. I saw the pandemic coming in there. I didn't think the guys who I was working for just before that were going to look after me, so I went online. And it was a good decision. The pay's terrible, but the commute's a dream. I'm just like, 5 minutes on my bed, 5 seconds on my bed even.
Exactly.
But I online when I was living in Spain. I used to live in Spain in Russians, getting paid in American dollars into a British bank account. I mean, it's just confusing the world, isn't it?
Yeah, that would do my head in completely as well, that moment as well, mate. So now I want to ask you about as well, obviously, we're looking at obviously about his poetry really. So I know you've done a couple of books, but before we come to that in a few moments, I want to know this story about you. Told me a little bit about this. Where you accidentally wrote a poem for the History Channel, 1999. Yeah. That was used in a poster campaign. And that just sounds absolutely surreal. But what I know about you, Ray, is I can believe it.
Well, it was the turn of the millennium. So 1999, obviously the year 2000 was coming up, and the History Channel, which I now think is called Yesterday. Anyway, it's the History Channel. And they were having an exhibition. They wanted people to send in photos and write a little bit about them. It's called Photos for the Future. And I sent in a little picture of my grandpa, my granddad. But I put a little poem in the letter just to go with it, which summed up the exhibition itself, the idea, the project. So, and they quite liked it. They used it on this poster campaign, and because it was all voluntary stuff, they didn't pay me. However, they sent me a copy of the poster, which is over there. They sent me this little copy of the poster. It's got Ray Douglas, Lancashire underneath. I lied. It's normally Greater Manchester, but I put Lancashire. Sounds more romantic in my opinion.
Brilliant. So was this where your poetry first really came from then, or were you writing poetry before this stage?
I've always sort of written stuff, for family and friends. I'm sure we've all done it. The big birthdays, the weddings, the anniversaries, and stuff like that. So I've always written funny poems to take the mickey out of people. And I still do that today. The last one I wrote was for my sister, my much older sister. Let's put it that way. Turned 50 during the lockdown, and I thought, oh, that's a shame. She's going to miss out on the big party thing. So I wrote her a poem, and then I thought, I'll record the poem, and then I thought I'll get a couple of people to say lines. I ended up with 19 people in this YouTube video, which I put together. I sliced it all together, and my mum and dad popped up now and again. My other sister popped up. My sister's kids all popped up. Some of her friends, all sharing these little funny lines. But some of the videos they were sending me were like 3 and 4 and 5 seconds long. They must have thought I was mad until they saw the finished thing,
Oh, wow. Now, I know someone's done something. My mum has done similar to that myself. My wife has, because when she did her novels the other year, I seen the link up, it's brilliant, where she got a people we know to read out about a line, maybe 2, of one of her novels, and it's absolutely surreal. So I've got to send it over to you. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it was serious. Well, I like it. Those sort of things you're doing right can be really, really good. Now, I know obviously I can see from what I know of you, and you sent a list over to me as well of who some writers are, your influences, and I can see the 4 you've listed. I can see. I don't know the 5th poet actually. You can come on to that in a minute, but the one that's in the most recent you've been introduced to. But people are wondering, like, your influences are, and I can see this when I heard you read Roald Dahl, Spike Milligan, Julia Donaldson, and Benjamin Zechariah. Less so with Benjamin Zechariah, but I could see it a little bit. But I said, but yeah. Now, so where did your love of all these 4 writers come from?
I mean, Roald Dahl, I think like a lot of people we were introduced to at school. I mean, we read the books and we read revolting rhymes. And I remember doing a school project, first year of secondary school, we did a school project of taking I think we took the giant turnip or the ever-growing turnip, whatever that story's called, and we wrote a poem and we sent them off to Roald Dahl. Whether he was still alive at that point, I don't know, but we got a letter back, probably a letter back from his company and his publishers, whatever. But we got a letter back saying how much he enjoyed these poems that we all wrote as a class. So I don't know, I think that's always stuck with me, that idea. And I remember sort of leading my team towards writing the best poem in the class kind of thing. But the revolting rhymes, I think in particular, I always remember some of the lines from them, and I've read them and bought them for my nephews recently as well. So yeah, I think they're fantastic, Roald Dahl. Julia Donaldson, I mean, I've used in class as well. I mean, the Gruffalo, I think, is a fantastic, such a simple piece of work, but an amazing and memorable piece of work as well.
No, brilliant. All great choices again there, definitely with that one. So now I've got to ask you, because obviously I've not actually, I'm going to hold my hands up now. I've not heard of the 5th poet you mentioned. Is it Shel Silverstein?
Shel Silverstein, yeah, I think he's from New York. He's certainly American. And what happened when I lived in Canterbury, I had a team of teachers, and I used to encourage them to take authentic stuff into the classroom. And this girl from New York, she came with this book, this big, thick, huge book, this anthology of this Shel Silverstein, and said, I'm thinking of using this in class, but I'm not sure what to do with it. And I took it and I turned it into some teaching resources for her. But it was basically very short poems, sort of 4, 6, 8, 12 lines, some a little bit longer, and one sketch. Some of it was for kids, some of it was for quite political, some of it was in fact for adults.
You can see here, I'm just looking him up when he was speaking. He's got a book. He had a book out called D's Big Nuts, and I thought myself, and I thought that can be taken both ways straight away.
yeah. So there's a little bit of innuendo in there as well. But this is what really opened up my eyes, and I thought, well, I can draw a little bit. I know you can probably see behind me, Andy. I've got some of the pictures. I do my YouTube.
You can. Obviously,
so
people wondering, we're actually an audio podcast only.
Yes.
But for just the people obviously can't see what we're seeing. Right behind where Ray's sat, he's got a big board up there. It's almost like you're sketching ideas of poems, of illustrations all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. So I use this as a background for when I do the YouTube channel for the kids. So this is like a thematic background behind me when I do that.
Yeah, that Playboy image in one of them is really good, man.
It's a rabbit. It's just an innocent-looking rabbit.
No comment. No, that's brilliant. They're really, really good. Now, obviously, moving right fast forward, and obviously, I know, obviously, like you did your first book in 2018, didn't you? Yeah. And it obviously, like, I think it probably took you a bit later on in life to decide, didn't it? You want to take your writing a bit more serious. Now, what made you want to take it to the next stage? And
A couple of things. I think seeing that book, that Shel Silverstein book, and just thinking if I can do that, I can probably do one sketch and one poem to go with it. I'll do the way around more often. I do the writing and then the drawing. And also a good friend of mine, Dan Worsley, he writes for kids. And he retired at a very early age, and now he goes around schools and he writes short stories and novels for kids, and he's quite successful. And I had a chat with him, and I sort of said, look, I think I've got enough here for a little bit of a book. And then we went through it together, and he gave me some great advice. And I thought, yeah, let's have a go at this. Let's try it, you know?
Yeah, now obviously people are wondering what your first book is, and the great titles, both your two books are, is The Silly Sausage Saga. I like trying to say that when I'm having a few drinks as well, and other silly rhymes. Now, obviously, I know you were plotting this book for a couple of years before, from what I can understand. Mm-hmm. So obviously then, tell us about where the title for it, first of all, came from. And I'm guessing it's obviously, I've not read the book, I'm guessing it's an actual title of the poem.
Well, within the book, there's lots of short poems. However, there's one kind of story, all written in verse. So it's all, everything's a poem, everything rhymes. So the Silly Sausage Saga is in 7 parts, and so it's a sausage. And he, at the beginning of the story, finds out he's in a fridge, and he's all dark, and he doesn't really know where he is. And then he starts to make friends with the other components of what could possibly be, without giving anything away, a breakfast. So there's a mushroom, there's an egg, and then they find themselves, you know, all kind of shapes. So the fridge door opens, suddenly there's light. Find themselves in a frying pan. I won't give away too much of the story because you have to, buy it and find out what happens. Does he get eaten? Does he get end on a plate, or does he escape? So the sausage himself is trying to escape. So he's a bit of a silly sausage because he thinks he can run away. And the other parts of the food, the other parts of the breakfast, they're thinking, well, you know, we're breakfast. That's what we're going to do.
Brilliant. No, it does say it's what I've heard of your stuff. I think you've read out some extracts too, but it is tremendous, definitely. So now, obviously, you've started 2018, I think it was. Mm-hmm. You started also uploading performances and pieces onto YouTube as well, didn't you? So, was this a way of promoting your book, or was bring your pieces more visible to people? Do you think?
A little bit of both, I suppose. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I cheated at first, and I was out with you. So I put together like a PowerPoint, and the words appeared, and I read over the PowerPoint. I was a bit shy, and as an introduction, all my pieces are introduced with a harmonica solo. So I do a little harmonica solo, and then the poem appears, and then the harmonica solo, and it goes. But I've got a lot braver recently since Zoom and open mics and things like that. I've got a lot braver, so I do feature physically in my pieces now on the YouTube channel.
I think a lot of it is just getting confidence for yourself sometimes, isn't it? So when you've got it's building your nerves, getting past your nerves a lot of the time. Yeah. I think that's what's done a lot of us, really, because I've been active that way for years now, really. But I remember Amanda was like this. It took her time to get accepted, basically. And you do, and it just take time building everything up, doesn't it? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got to try these things. You got to try them. You got to find your way of doing it, and then you pick up ideas from other people, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Really, there's no original idea. There's just
no. I think it's like there's only 6 original plot lines, isn't there? I reckon, can't they? All kinds of writing. And I thought a lot of it is how you interpret it. So that's where you can make millions out of it. So yeah, definite. Now, obviously, I know your second book came out last year.
That's right, yeah.
And Lucy the Tooth Fairy's Last Chance, and some pretty witty ditties. I love that, pretty witty ditties. Now, obviously, round about the same point, you started. I know that's when we first met last. Was it last year or this year?
Oh God, crikey! It must have been last year.
No, it must have been. It was this year. Because I knew about you. I think I saw you read once or twice on nights.
Okay.
Our friend Richard Harris was that, who had basically been praising you ever since. Yeah. So I think you were. I know you've been telling me. Obviously, you started doing Zoom in 2020, didn't you? So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, late 2020, I guess.
Yeah. What made you want to do that then?
Well, the Zoom or
the Zoom. The Zoom thing. We'll come to the second book in a minute, yeah.
I was plucking up the courage to go in person to the old courts in Wigan where they do an open mic. I was plucking up the courage, and just before the lockdown sort of came in, or the pandemic came in proper, and I bottled it one time. I didn't go, and then everything closed down, and then suddenly I saw that they were doing it online, and I thought, well, do you know what? That's a bit less nerve-wracking, isn't it? Let's break our cherry. Let's pop our cherry, sorry, by doing it online and getting used to the idea. So that was quite good. And then I bumped into a few other people on there and noticed they were going to other places. You know, you make friends on Facebook, don't you, with the people you meet. And And so you sort of, well, such a body's going there. No, Sean Fallows is going to that one. I'll follow him to there. And Richard Harris is coming over to the one in Hull. And so you kind of follow people. And I ended up with sort of being a regular at quite a few of these. And they've been good, really.
Yeah, I think they've been really good as well. So I've done loads myself, and that's why I think I first became aware of you really through that, really. Yeah, they are very, I think they've got advantages and disadvantages, I think is probably the best way of putting it. But yeah, I think it's does help me get used to them. Seeing people read poetry from other countries and stuff like that.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
And I was always a bit nervous, I guess, because I write for kids. I always thought, am I going to be a bit out of place? Are people going to, switch off and not listen? Because as soon as I say, look, I write for kids, because I like to warn people. I mean, they should be able to work it out. But, I do like to say, look, I write for kids. And, if that's not your bag, then, you're forgiven. That's fine. And I didn't think I'd be too accepted, but it's been brilliant. Everyone's been really warm and welcoming. And, now and again, people go, well, I write for kids as well. And, they read like Nick Topchek and Ivan Ugarte. They kind of pull out the kids stuff as well and sort of join in a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah, no, great. I love kids stuff myself. It's just a different field of things. That's why it is very. I think it's very. I think in a lot of ways, and I'm interested in knowing before we come on to your second book in a minute. I think it's harder to write for kids actually and do adult poems a lot of the time.
I mean, both are tricky, both are difficult. Depends if you've got something to say and you know where you're going, you're fine. I think whatever you're writing for, whether you're writing for kids, family, friends, if you're writing for on a commission for something, if you know where you're going, you've got a firm idea. I think it's easy. If you don't, you probably want to knock it on the head and move aside.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point of it. Now, obviously, I want to ask you next to go on to your second book now, Lucy, about Lucy the Tooth Fairy. Now, obviously, how did this compare to writing your first book?
I enjoyed it a lot more, but also it was a bit trickier. So I thought, I set myself a deadline, and I wrote it more like a writer than a hobbyist, I suppose. The first one was more a collection of things which I kind of had anyway, and then I was kind of writing towards, can I get that first book ready? But the second one, I had a firm idea of what I wanted to do, and I had it in different sections. So there is funny stuff. There's the Lucy, the stories. I like the silly sausage story in the first one. The Lucy stories in about 8-9 parts, and that goes right through the book. But there's also more serious stuff in there as well. I didn't just want to make people laugh. I wanted to be a bit more thought-provoking in it. So there's a couple of poems in there about that. So I mean, I found it easier but more difficult, if that makes sense. Easier to go through the process of writing it, and the illustrations I found a lot easier as well the second time. I've started to get a bit better at that as well. I was a bit nervous about my illustrations the first time.
I think it is. I think the first book itself, on any writer, particularly poets, sometimes and I don't like to this word, but it can end up being a bit slapdash without you meaning to be. So I think you probably rush it out, and I think sometimes you probably need to spend more time perhaps thinking it through. Yeah. It took me 5 years to do my second book, Trooper told you. I had a massive gap at it. I couldn't get the second book right. But it goes that way sometimes. So I said, but yeah, I get what you mean. Like when you do the second book, you're looking back at the first book, and it's a reaction to the first book, really. I think the second one.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes that way. I think it's only natural. I think you put pressure on yourself as well for a follow up in your second one.
Yeah. No, I found that straight away with it. So no, I agree. So right, okay. I know you've recently now, and this is your words, not mine. Before you broke your cherry nut on live open mic nights, and I know you've done 2 in Wigan, haven't you? So
I've done 3 now.
Oh, is it 3 now?
Yeah, I mean, two different events.
But, right. That's what really confused me. Oh no, I thought you'd done just 2 events, but you've done 3. Tell us about them, then.
I enjoyed it, and I guess I rocked up and saw some familiar faces, people who had only been in 2 dimensions on screens. But obviously, then you meet them in person, and that was easy. Made it easier to sort of meet people, so you knew who you were. You're sitting with people you've seen online, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I thought of warn people. I am a children's writer, but it went down well. My stuff went down well, and got some nice comments of other people there, and yeah, I think I fitted in okay. I'm not sure. I think so.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean that reason of being nervous for not going in the past, I think. I look back and think that was a bit silly. I could have been doing this for years,
Yeah, I think a lot of it is sometimes just trying to get yourself into the zone for doing it. And like I said, but I think once you connect to it yourself, it's going to be something you can be there for a long time with you. I always believe that. Because like it is, I've been reading, performing now for blimey, 14 years or so now with your wife.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had a spell mid 2000s where I stopped for about 18 months. As I was coming out of mid 2010 actually. I stopped for 18 months because I was having trouble with the relationship I was in at the time. Not Amanda, one before her. So I lost about 18 months on that. Yeah. But then basically, after that finished, I came back to it. And I knew I'm going to go back. I'm going to carry on now the rest of my life one way or another, don't you? So that's why. But I think you'll probably be the same way. Now the bug's bit, it's not going to go, is it? So.
Well, exactly, yeah. Onwards and upwards.
I always like to conclude with, Rachel, and start wrapping up now, is obviously what's coming up next. And this is great because you've told me now what you've got coming up. Now, I'm going to have to I'm going to leave the mic to you this one. But I know you've got another book called Gold Medal Hunters on the way. Another book of children's poetry. But before we come to those two, what is Nellie the Narrowboat?
Well, Nellie the Narrowboat is... It's kind of my version of Thomas the Tank Engine, I guess. It was
brilliant.
It was an idea given to me by let me get this right, my sister's father-in-law, I think, a guy called Dave. so sorry. And he had a canal barge for a while, and he kept up dreaming up with these stories and saying, it'd be nice if there was like a narrowboat version of Thomas the Tank Engine. So for a laugh, the following Christmas, I actually wrote a little story. I wrote a little poem, a story. I printed it, made it look quite nice, and I gave it to him just for a bit of a laugh because I knew he was going to be around at Christmas. And I've still got that poem, and it is actually in my last book. It's in Lucy. There's two Nellie the Narrowboat stories in Lucy, but I've got like 6 or 7 of them written. So the idea is to fully illustrate them and make, maybe put like 4 or 5 stories into a book, and instead of just having 2 pages of these stories. We'll make a full book out of them. So again, my illustrations are not, they don't come easy. So that's going to be a bit of a tricky one. So it's something I'm chipping away on at the moment, that one. The Gold Medal Hunter is fully illustrated as well. So there's 7 poems about animals doing sports. So there's an ostrich doing the long jump. There's 4 penguins doing the bobsleigh. There's a hippo ice skating. So there's all these little stories, and again, they're all fully illustrated, so I think they go over 4, 5, 6 pages each.
Brilliant. So you said it's like 3 books coming up there yourself. So do you have a release line and plan for them, or are they going to be all next year or a bit beyond that even?
Well, the Gold Medal Hunters was meant to be out for the 2020 Olympics. Missed that. But then obviously the Olympics got delayed, so I was like, okay. But then, because I teach a lot of foreign students, the Japanese students are all saying to me, we're not having the Olympics. But of course it did go ahead, but I wasn't ready. So as I've just said, there's bobsleigh in there, and there's ice skating in there, and there's some summer Olympic sports. So maybe when the Winter Olympics are kicking off and people are looking forward to that, I'll drop Gold Medal Hunters. And then
fingers crossed, and definitely with that, mate. So good luck with it, definitely. Now, if people want to find out more about you, know your books can be got on Amazon, can't they?
They are on Amazon.
They are on Amazon. Are they available anywhere else, people, to get them? Or is it mostly just Amazon that you're aware of?
Mostly Amazon, only Amazon actually. But if you DM me, I've always got some underneath this desk behind me, which can be signed and sent on if you DM me on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you find me.
The question is, are they propping up your desk in home?
No, just keep the door open.
No, they're not that. They're not. He's not got that many. I can tell you that now, everybody. But obviously, I know you can be found on Facebook quite easy as Ray Douglas, can't you?
That's right, yeah.
And what's your page on Instagram then? Because I know I followed you the other day. Is it Ray Douglas again? Is it?
That's Mr. Ray Douglas, if you don't mind.
Mr. Ray Douglas, very posh.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, mate. What we'll do, we'll wrap up now for you on the chat bits. So we're going to let you get some pieces ready for us in the second half, but it's been tremendous. Cool. Thank you today, Ray.
Thank you very much.
Very entertaining chat, mate. So
absolute pleasure.
See you all in 2 minutes, guys.
Thank you.
Spoken, mate.
Hi, guys. This is my favourite time of the podcast now. I can sit back now and take the provisional Michael after Ray as he keeps us on entertained for I don't know how long for. I know he's got quite a few pieces for us. But the good thing is, hang around because each one of them is going to be charming, eccentric, very Ray, and the views are quite short and concise. So I'm going to leave it over to you, mate. Go for it, mate.
Thank you very much. Okay. Well, We'll start with this one, globe trotting. As mentioned, I've travelled quite a lot. I just wish I'd been to all of these places. This one's called globe trotting. Tipperary, Timbuktu, Mid Glamorgan, Kathmandu, Northwest China, South Peru, lots to see, lots to do. Johannesburg, Istanbul, New South Wales, Western Hull, Little Bighorn, Sitting Bull, keeping busy, days packed full. Bratislava, Rome, Kuwait, Atlantic Ocean, River Plate, Bollywood, Hollywood, Golden Gate, set off early, stay till late. New England, Hampshire, Mexico, Bangkok, Thailand, Tokyo, Glasgow, Moscow, Old Cairo, pack your bags and off we go. There we go.
Oh, what a great start. Great start, that one, mate. Because that's like, it's a great one, that, for introducing yourself to the rest of your poems, that's all. I'm going to shut up now. Carry on, mate, but excellent.
That's all right, absolutely fine. Well, inspired by being a teacher. So this one's called Homework. Can I have your homework, please? The teacher asked each kid. I knew I hadn't done it, but I guess I never did. But this is not the first time my homework has been missed. I'll need an explanation, but that's okay. I've got a list. Now, I've used the one about the dog, how it had eaten up my book. I've used the one about the wind, which blew my work beneath a truck. I've used the one about the rain, how it washed away the words. And I've used the one about the time I was attacked by scary birds. Now, with teacher fast approaching, I realise my list is through. So I panic just a little, wondering what to do. The teacher says, homework, please, and this time tell the truth. And I say, the fairy must have took it when she came for my front tooth.
Oh, that, I can imagine that been a true story to you there, actually. You've had some children trying to use that as an excuse. That's all I'm going to say.
I've heard them all.
Oh, I can well believe that. And we're not going to say anything else there in case. So I might ask you for one or two of them later on, but we don't embarrass the poor child. Right, go for it, mate. Give us number 3.
I'm going to do 3 together. There we go. And these are all about that most joyous of bodily functions which children and adults seem to enjoy. Okay. The first one is when people read my books, they say this is their favourite one, the one they remember the most. It's annoying because it's very simple. It's called Bubbles. I dare you not to giggle. I dare you not to laugh. When your bottom trumps and makes bubbles in the bath. And that's it. That's all it was. The people seem to like that one.
Yeah, I can see why. They always say, toilet humour always works, mate.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, my next book featured this one. It's called When a Fart. When a fart is spreading and everywhere it goes, people have to close their eyes and tightly hold their nose. And as the fart travels round the tables, chairs and doors, can you stop yourself from laughing when you know it's one of yours? And this is my current favourite poem. And in light of that, I called it Greatest. Why not? Have you let one go? Have you let one rip? Are you worried that your undies are chocolate chip? Have you caused the stink? Did you cut the cheese? Have you set one free in the breeze? Did your raspberry ripple? Did your bum pump? Did the sofa start shaking with the power of your trump? Did the air turn foggy? Did faces go green like wicked old witches on wicked Halloween? Was it silent but deadly? Was it tremendous and loud? Are you pleased with yourself? Are you feeling rather proud? Was your bottom burp ace? Was it a fine work of art? And in the history of wind, was it the greatest ever fart?
Oh, yeah, greatest, the word, definitely good word there, mate.
So this is actually the first serious daft poem that I wrote. Yeah, so it's called If Aliens Play Football. You know, sometimes you get bored watching a match, don't you? You start to wonder. If aliens played football, would they be any good? With extra feet and longer legs, you get the feeling that they would. For sure they can run faster and kick the ball much harder too. And with all those eyes, it's certain they get a better point of view. If it's true, like in the movies, that they can read each other's thoughts, which can really help in football and lots of other sports, because then they can be silent, but tell each other how to play, instead of shouting loudly and giving the game away. I hope if aliens do play football, they don't have extra feet. Their legs are short, their eyesight's bad, and they're easy to defeat. I hope their goalkeeper is rubbish, and it cannot even catch, especially since coach said we're playing them next match.
Oh, tremendous.
Okay. Well, let's pick up with the silly sausage saga. This is part 2. This is where the silly sausage himself has just kind of worked out that he's worked out where he is and what he is, maybe. So silly sausage saga part 2. A silly little sausage, still feeling rather cold, had worked out where he was, so was feeling rather bold. I bet my bottom dollar that a fridge is where we're at. My word, he's gone and got it, the mushroom said to that. So how did we both get here? Tell me, mushroom, what's your plan? Whatever do you mean, sausage? We've done everything we can. I've made a right mess of that, sorry.
It adds to the flavour then.
Let's have another go at that one. The key sort of plot line was a bit fluffed. A silly little sausage, still feeling rather cold, had worked out where he was, so was feeling rather bold. I bet my bottom dollar that a fridge is where we're at. My word, he's gone and got it, the mushroom said to that. So how do we get out of here? Tell me, mushroom, what's the plan? Whatever do you mean, sausage? We've done everything we can. Soon enough, we'll be on a plate, all cooked up like a treat. Achieved our certain destiny, be something nice to meet. Oh, that's not the way I see it. That's not the life for me. And if we work together, I reckon we can still be free. Mushroom said, well, I'm not helping. Sausage sighed, oh, thanks a bunch. Mushroom answered, let's face it, soon we'll both be served for lunch.
That's more like it.
Okay. I thought I'd have a quick look at my YouTube channel earlier, and these next two are the two most watched on my YouTube channel. So if you don't like them, someone does. This one's called Salad Time. Oh no, it's salad time. There are strange things on my plate. Oh no, it's salad time. These are all the things I hate. Oh no, it's salad time. Why can't I have fries? Oh no, it's salad time. I've got tears behind my eyes. Oh no, it's salad time. And you know just what this means, because every time it's salad time, I have to eat my greens.
Top banana. Right, I can't say top vegetable, right? So I'll say top banana.
That was a bit. This one I wrote for National Poetry Day this year. So as you probably are aware, the theme was choice. So I wrote a poem called Choice. What a dilemma. I'm scratching my head. First I want that one, then this one instead. Can't make up my mind. Can't seem to choose. Too much to bamboozle. Too much to confuse. A selection of goodies, a whole host of treats. Snacks for the choosing, even biscuits and sweets. In bright, shiny packets. Behind the glass screen, the display of delights in a vending machine. There's a nice bar of chocolates, if I go for B7. Some salted peanuts at C11. There are crisps and candy and licorice to chew. Behind A3, D4 and E22. I put in my pound 10 minutes ago. I still need to choose, and yet still, I don't know. A queue's formed behind me. There are 6 in a line. Oh, hang on a second. There are 7, 8, 9. I'm flipping, I'm flopping, I'm changing my mind, causing frustration for those stood behind. But I can't make a selection. I cannot decide. It's the vending machine. There's too much inside. So I press one button and I get my pound back. I just couldn't do it. I could not choose a snack. I walk away in the end. Those in the queue all rejoice. And I guess I can't handle being so spoiled for choice.
Excellent. How many pieces did we say we we're going to go with today, Ray?
I've got a couple more left if you want them.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah. We've got tons of time tonight, right?
Tons of time.
Well, we haven't got tons of it. We haven't got all year, but yeah, you know what I mean, mate. Go for it, mate.
We'll put on red hats. We'll stay till Christmas Eve.
Oh God, yeah. Make it a 6-week podcast. Make a record of it.
This is the beginning of the Tooth Fairy story. Lucy the Tooth Fairy's last chance. So this is how it begins. Stood in the office of Tooth Fairy boss, who was ranting and raving and getting all cross. Lucy was shaken, a little bit scared, and couldn't speak back. Not that she dared. It's not good enough, Tooth Fairy boss said. You keep waking them up when they're sleeping in bed. That's not the point. It's not how you were trained. Never before have so many complained. Letters and emails and phone calls we've had from each angry mum and each angry dad to complain on their behalf. To complain on behalf of their sons and their daughters. And that shouldn't happen, not at Tooth Fairy headquarters. So tonight has to be your very last chance. No ifs and no buts, no song and no dance. One more simple job, straight there and straight back. Make any mistakes and you'll get the sack. Well, there we go.
Dead with authority there, as all I noticed, right?
Go on, I'll just do a few more. And then this is a slightly more thought-provoking one, I think. This one's called Families. And this was written when someone got in touch with me and sort of said, I don't know if you remember me, I'm an old friend of a friend, and my mum knows your mum. And anyway, I've got your book and I read it to my daughter, her adopted daughter. And she says, I always take the advantage of you being adopted, me, myself, being adopted, and to talk to my daughter about adoption and how normal it is. And, look, adopted people are all around us. So that got me thinking about families. And I wrote this. It's called Families. Have you got two mamas? Have you got two papas? Do you happen to have one of each? Do you have a home with your mother? Does your dad have another? Well, you get to go and see him every week. Or is it dependable dad who's back at your pad, making sure that you sleep and you eat? Is it auntie or grandma, your uncle, your grandpa, who's helping you find your own feet? Are you currently fostered? Have you been adopted? Got a new loving family of your own? Got brothers and sisters, mothers and misters? Or an only child who's happy alone? Do you need to be stronger? Because your mummy's no longer. Does your daddy look on from above? Well, all families are different, with one thing consistent. They're all held together with love.
Oh, you can be nice sometimes, Ray, can't you?
Sometimes we leave the daft stuff around. But we'll do one more daft one, and then I'll say goodbye. This one's called Pants. Dirty pants, mucky pants, smelly pants, yucky pants, greasy, reeky, foul pants, and honking knickers too. Nasty pants, icky pants, grimy pants, sticky pants, messy, grotty, stale pants, and stinking trousers too. Filthy pants, wicky pants, shabby pants, sniffy pants, scummy, grubby, wild pants, and sweating sweaters too. Stuffy pants, cruddy pants, scruffy pants, muddy pants, funky, spicy, vile pants, and rotting jumpers too. And that's why it's always best to stay away, to turn and run a mile from the dusty, rusty, musty, crusty, dirty washing pile.
Agreed completely there. Brilliant. Thank you to that today, Ray. It's been tremendous, mate. Really, really enjoyed it, mate. After having got all kinds of problems getting home to that public transport from work, you picked my evening right up, mate. Brilliant, mate. So thank you again, mate. Anyway, so hang around. So I do need to speak to you now. We're wrapping up here. So seriously, mate, been a pleasure today. Come on board again when the next book's out next year, mate. I'd love to have you on again, mate.
I certainly will. Well, I'll be off then. Cheerio. See you later. Off I go.
Yeah.
Ta-ra for now. Back and on. By which I mean later on. Be lucky. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Ta-ta. Don't you go changing. Stay as you are. Toodle pip, Andy. So long as you. And until next time, take care of you. Got you.
Sounds great to me. I don't need to do another ending on that, definitely. So take care, guys. I'll see you all next time.
Spoken, mate.